All right, welcome back. We're continuing to do solving these systems of equations by multiplying along with addition and subtraction. This set of lessons, this lesson will have a couple of problems in it. They're just a little bit more challenging, but the concept will be the same. So let's take the problem. 5 times p minus 2 times q equals 1. And right underneath it, I will write down the second equation, 4 times p plus 5 times q is equal to 47. I know it's a weird looking set of equations. So again, you could graph these and look for their intersection, and that would be the solution. You could do substitution. That's obviously fine. You can also add these together. Now, we try to add them. We realize right away we can't really add these right away and get a cancellation. So then we start saying, well, can we multiply one of these equations by something? Okay, what can I multiply this by? You know, 5 times what is going to give me 4? I mean, you could do a fraction, you know, you could figure something out, but then you're going to have a lot of fractions running around, which is not nice. I mean, you can do it, but it's just not going to be very fun. So what can you multiply this by to give you to cancel with 5? Well, 2 times 2 is 4, 2 times 3 is 6. You can't really multiply by a whole number to do this. You could come up with a fraction that you can multiply this by and get what you want, but then you're going to have fractions everywhere, and that's going to be ugly. So then you start looking at the second equation. What can I multiply this by to cancel with this? What can I multiply this by so that I'll be able to cancel with this? Ultimately, you're not going to be able to find a whole number that works. Again, you could work with fractions. You can multiply by fractions. It's fine. It's just that then you're going to have fractions running around all of your terms, which is kind of ugly when you're trying to simplify everything. So here's the punchline of what I haven't told you before. It is true that you can multiply one of these equations by something. In the last section, notice that all the problems we gave you, we just had to multiply one equation by something to bring it into cancellation with the other equation. Now I'm going to clue you in on the rest of the story. So you can actually multiply each equation by numbers. So you don't have to just work with one equation like we did before. Those were kind of easier problems. You only had to multiply by one equation by one number. But here it's not going to work like that. So we need to multiply the top equation by something, but we're going to also multiply the second equation by something else in order to bring it in to cancellation. So let me just go down my thought process here. Let's say we want to cancel the q terms, right? So we need to come up with something that we multiply the first equation by that's going to change this term, and then we need to come up with something we multiply the second equation by to change this term so that we bring them into cancellation. So just work with me here. If I multiply the top equation by 5, then it'll be 5 times 2 is 10q, that's 10. And if I then multiply the second equation by 2, a totally different number, the number 2, then I'll also have a 10q and I'll be able to simplify. So let me show you what I mean. I'm going to multiply, let me rewrite the equations again. 5p minus 2q is 1. In the second equation, 4p plus 5q is 47. So the top equation I'm going to multiply by, I have complete freedom here to do what I want, but I'm going to multiply by 5, then I also have to do it on the right hand side. And the bottom equation I'm going to multiply by 2, and then I'm going to do the same exact thing here, multiplying this by 2. All right, now why am I doing this? All right, because what I'm going to have on the top, 5 times 5 is 25p. Let's just go ahead down below here and say this is the new system, 25p. 5 times negative 2q is negative 10q is equal to, and then 1 times 5 on the right is equal to 5. That's the first equation. Now I'm going to multiply this. 2 times 4 is